the day we're gonna make our Hurricane suck a little bit more air, that is, because we got a K&N intake for this thing, which K&N claims this thing on the high output increases horsepower by as much as 40 to the wheels, which is unbelievable. I don't think we're gonna see that kind of stuff on the standard output, but for $350, $400, even if we get 15, 20 wheel horsepower, that's a pretty awesome gain for the money. Now, we've already got a couple other mods done to this truck, including an underground tuning blow-off valve that we just got installed. And I've also had the chance to test both a JB4 tuner and also the new Diablosport CAT6, which is actually what this truck is running right now. Now, I found that both those tuners alone add a pretty dramatic difference, going from low 5 seconds, 0 to 60 times, to almost mid 4 seconds. So big improvements even on the standard output. And I've heard of guys with the K&N taking another 2/10 off their 0 to 60 time, and also the quarter mile, of course. And so I'm really excited, more than anything, more than the performance gains, I'm really excited to be able to hear the turbochargers. That's my one biggest complaint with the standard output. You would never know this thing is turbocharged at all. You cannot hear it from outside, from inside. Now, I've heard some high outputs, and the way their intake system is set up, you can hear those turbos spooling. Definitely more, it's still not very loud, but definitely more so than the standard output. So I'm excited to have some noise. Because at the end of the day, I paid for twin turbos, and I want to hear them. Now, I've actually had this intake for like over a month. I bought it from Beefcake Racing online, and just because at the time there was some kind of discount they were doing, I think I got like 50 bucks off. So it was like $350 plus tax. So it was the best deal I found at the time. There might be some better deals now, because like I said, that was at least a month ago, if not 6 weeks ago. We've just had so much other stuff I've been having to do and test. I haven't had a chance to throw this thing on. So I'm super excited to hear the sound difference. Now, here's the dyno graph. Actually, this came with the kit with the instructions. So look at this. They show it's a 25 RAM high output, 800 miles on it. And look at the gain. So starting over here around, say, 2,700 RPM, we got a pretty good gain. And then the maximum increase is that 40-ish plus horsepower they saw. But I mean, it carries it all the way to redline, and quite a bit of torque. Wow, almost 70 pound-feet of torque around 3,000 RPM. Wow, so this is going to be, I mean, this should be a kick in the pants. Now, again, I have a standard output here. I don't think we're going to see as big of gains, but again, if I'd hit 20 horsepower, 30 pound-feet of torque, I mean, I still think that's a heck of a deal for 400 bucks. You're sure as heck not getting those kind of results putting an air intake on a Hemi. All right, first things first, under the hood, we're going to take off that 13mm bolt that's just right back here. And then this thing, you just lift it up, pop it right out. Easy peasy. Next thing we got to do is get off this air intake tube. So we're going to pop out this coolant line here that's in our way, or it's attached to it. We need some trim removal, pop off all this stuff to be able to get this out of here. So we just need to undo our hose clamps from each side, and then I think we can lift this thing out of our way. So it does look like the stock air intake. It does have a T30 bolt holding it on, it looks like. So that bolt is just right here in front of and to the left of the oil fill. There we have it. Cool. And so again, here's that location of that bolt. You can see it's just right in front of the oil fill. All right, now that we got this intake tube out of the way, it says we just pull up on this housing and it should pop out. Actually, you know what? We got to also disconnect the mass airflow sensor here. Done. Oh, it's got a little connector though. So if you got one of these little handy trim tools or a screwdriver, either one will work, but just to be able to pop this little harness here for the mass airflow, pop it off there. There we go. All right, so kind of put that harness over there, and then It says there's just 4 little grommet things that kind of hold this on, I guess. Oh, this truck. I've got 35-inch tires, so the thing sits pretty high. Okay, there we go. Just got to come in from each side, seems like. Okay, look at that. Wow, I love that. Love not taking off bolts. All right, so now K&N just wants us to take off these factory 4 grommets, these little rubber grommet guys. They pop right off, and then we're going to put them into the 4 over here on this side. All right, now that we got these guys all installed, they want us just to go ahead and pop this thing back up in here. Oh, that's actually cool. So there's kind of a duct here on the bottom, the factory duct. And they've even got the provision to be able to reuse that. So that's kind of cool. And it's just going to be a matter of getting it all lined up. All right, we got it. So here now is what I was mentioning. This is that factory duct that came into the stock airbox, and then they've got the same thing, a little bit of hole, and then look at that, just kind of perfectly fits right in there. So you're getting the air flying up in. I really like how it looks like, kind of like OEM, you know, same materials, doesn't stand out too much. It's cool. Now, I know the company, I think SB Filters, those guys just finally released their air intake for this too. So I think those are the only 2 options we have right now is K&N and S&B. I'll be interested to see the differences if someone does kind of a video between those 2 different air intakes. All right, next up, we're just going to take our filter and we're going to slide it into the box. Oh, look at that. Easy peasy. Nice fit. Probably want to orient it. That metal line, have that down so it looks cool, you know. Now we got to come back over here to the factory air intake, and we're going to remove this mass airflow sensor. And so you're going to need a T20. Dunzo. Now we're going to take this little mass airflow adapter plate that they give us along with their gasket. And gasket's just going to go like that. And then it's got some sticky side on top. So it'll be like that. And they tell you, you know, make sure you orient it this way with that little bolt hole on the right. That way the mass airflow sensor will be facing the right direction. You don't want to screw that up. They also give you the hardware, which is a 4mm Allen. They don't give us any kind of like torque rating, but don't go crazy. The stuff's just plastic. You can see the corner ears there. I mean, once they get tightened down, you're good to go. And again, the way this is, you can only put it in one way where it matches up. So if you tried to flip it around, it won't match. So it's all about the bracket. Don't screw the bracket up. You won't screw this up. And then they did give us new hardware for this as well. Now these little guys are 3mm Allens. Again, don't go crazy. It's just plastic. All right, next up, we've got this little bracket here, and you're going to want to orient it this way. And it's just a 10mm with a flat washer and a lock washer. All right, next up, we're just going to take our little hump coupler and put our little clamps on each side and get it onto the throttle body. All right, so with our clamps all in place, we got this clamp just sitting here too, ready. Now, the fun part, you got to try to just finagle this dude back in here. And they say start on the filter side so that way you can shove it. And then you just got to try to maneuver that bad boy around here, whatever you got to do to get it done. All right, let's see how much we can screw this up. Okay, well, that's pretty easy. Oh yeah, this is gonna be the fun part. Okay. Come on, we know it ain't gonna be that easy. It's so close. Come on, buddy. You can do it. You're so close, dude. There we go. Look at you. All right, rock star. All right, so now we just gotta reconnect our mass airflow. Cool, cool. And then I think somehow I screwed up my bracket. It looks like it should be facing the back way for this harness to connect. All right, so the final thing we got to do now is they give us this little zip tie with this little piece, and that just goes right through the bracket. And I did have the bracket screwed up, so I removed it, tightened it. So what this does, this is mainly just to hold this coolant line out of the way. So there is some adjustment forward and backwards. So I'm actually going to push this thing all the way back, and I'm going to zip tie both this dude and our little harness here. All right, guys, a couple things. One, I realized that I had my intake tube rotated up. That's why this bracket was facing the wrong way. So anyway, I got it. Now you can see the K&N logo. That's how it goes. So, and then of course your mass airflow now is facing down. So it just looks aesthetically much better. But I went to go tighten this clamp, and check this out. I'm a little bit pissed about this, K&N. So look at the clamp they gave me. So it came like this, already tightened, you know, all the way. Obviously it's about an inch too big. So will not fit, will not tighten down onto my air intake. So I'm gonna have to get another clamp. I mean, I'll call K&N, I'm sure they'll be happy to send me out another clamp, but it's probably gonna take 5 days, right? So I need to see if I can get something off Amazon here today or tomorrow, or just call the local AutoZone, see what I can do. But yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I think this might be too small. I was just measuring it. This is like 4.5 inches, and I'm guessing I need probably a 5-incher for that one. So anyway, but otherwise, yeah, otherwise it's good. We just gotta put the top cover back on, but I'm gonna wait to get the clamp fixed, and then we can start this thing up, see how it sounds. All right, so the crisis has been averted. I was able just to go to my local O'Reilly Auto Parts, and they had this 4.5 inch to 6.5 inch clamp, stainless steel, in stock, and it was like $2.50 with tax and everything. So very, very cheap. So the problem with this one is this is about 6 inches completely tightened, where we need it to be, you know, 6 inches to start, and then probably tightening down somewhere between 5 to 5.5. So now we should be able to get this thing snapped up on there. All right, finished product all installed. There's our new clamp. We're looking good. Now we just got to start it up. All right, let's jump in here. Let's see if our engine still starts. All right, it starts. That's great. So let me see if you can pick this up. You hear that little, I bet you the camera can't hear it, but as you let off the gas, you definitely hear like the turbo going, woo, like spooling on down. It's cool. All right, so with it started out here, let's see if we can hear this intake. All right, go ahead. Woo! Oh, it sounds so thunderous. Dude, yes, this truck. Oh my God, it's sucking some air, baby. Woo! I wish it would have came like this from the factory, for real. Whoa. Holy crap. Slow launch. So I've been driving the truck around now all week. So it's been like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since I installed the K&N. And it's not super noticeable when you're inside the truck, especially you got the radio on and stuff. It is not going to be that much louder, right? But where it is louder, if you're driving around without, you know, the radio on, or you're going kind of slower and you got the windows down, you can certainly hear that louder air intake sound of sucking in the air. And then you can hear the turbo, you know, that little kind of almost sounds like a cat meowing a little bit, just the sound of that turbo starting to take off and spool up. And then especially when you let off, you can hear the turbos idling down. So that's the biggest thing. Not dramatic inside, you know, definitely outside the truck, you can hear it a lot better. As far as performance goes, I'm seeing a bit of an improvement with the draggy. I did some times and I saw some 0 to 60 improvement, some 1/8 mile improvement, but just driving around, I mean, I don't know, my truck, you know, like I said, the truck already has the Diablosport CAT6 on it, which is like 50, 60 more real horsepower. So, you know, let's say this is another 20. It's kind of hard to tell. Like the truck's already pretty quick, you know, like we're talking here a truck that does, you know, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds and probably would knock the 1/4 mile out in 12.9, 12.8, you know, so it's already a pretty quick truck. So it's kind of hard for me to notice. If your truck was bone stock and then you put this on, probably you could tell a little bit more, but I'm happy. I think for 350 bucks, I'm sure it gave us some performance improvement. Obviously, it's a bit faster, like I said. I haven't been able to test 1/4 mile because I just don't have a track, you know, and I don't really want my truck taken away, my license. So we'll have to wait another few weeks for the drag strip to open, and then we can actually do some real testing and validation. All right, guys, so there you have it. For about 400 bucks, you get a whole bunch of sexy turbo noises that we've been missing. And installation, I mean, come on, it's super simple. Even though we had that little hiccup with the clamp, it was still no big deal. We got it all sorted out. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. We'll catch you guys on the next one.